which is a wild troop of long-tailed macaques that actually live in the heart of urban Jakarta. So they live in the largest city in the world. They're talking about millions of people surrounding them, buildings and everything. I'm on the very far end of the park. If I lose connection here, it's pretty typical in this area back here. But I wanted to come to the far end because the season has changed. It was the dry season up until October, and at the end of October, transitioned to the wet season. And the wet season here comes with a lot of downfall of rain, so you get storms on a daily basis and just a lot of water coming in. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see. At the edge of the park is also the boundary where the neighborhood begins. So you have people that live beyond this outside area. This is actually a horticultural preparatory area for mangrove seedlings, that sort of thing, and a little bit of fishery down in this area. And then going straight back, if you were to follow the trail, the dirt trail, you would come to the neighborhood, and it's an upscale neighborhood. I mean, it's just like modern houses. But if you look, those of you that follow this channel and follow True Bravo's adventures, you know that this is overgrown and this happened just in a couple of weeks. So this little tiny park is now an absolute jungle, even though, just like I said a few weeks ago, it was bone dry in here and there just wasn't this green foliage everywhere, and you didn't have all the overgrown plants on the trails and that sort of thing. So what I'm doing is I'm starting at the lair. This is where the monkeys actually live, or I should say, this is where they actually sleep at night. They come up to the trees. They're arboreals, so they go up into the trees. They make a nest, and all 26 of them sleep up in the trees until dawn. And when the sun comes up, they come down and they start looking for food. Long-tailed macaques spend about 30% of their day looking for food. And here in the park, they actually kind of do a little bit more than that because they also forage from trash cans and human things. And if there are a lot of people around, of course, they're hoping to get a handout from people giving snacks, which I highly do not advise you to do if you're ever in a situation with wild monkeys. Number one, for your safety, monkeys are unpredictable. Long-tailed macaques are not actually hyper aggressive, but when they're vying for food or they're looking to get, human foods, their behavior can change drastically and quickly, and it can put you at risk for bites, scratches, and that sort of thing. And they do carry disease. Not all of them, but some of them do carry disease, and those diseases can be on the range from mild things to extremely life altering. You don't want to get it sort of stuff. So, it's a good idea not to get bit by a wild monkey. And then on the other side, you need to protect their safety. Long-tailed macaques are endangered species. And that's a recent development that actually came about. The IUCN Red List that came out in 2022 was the first time they've ever been listed as an endangered species, and they just got a relisting this year to reaffirm their endangered status. So they are not developing better numbers yet. So they're an endangered species, and of course we want to protect that. They are primary seed dispersers. That means that they are very important to the biodiversity of this little ecosystem. And for the most part, they're pretty chill here in the park. I know people send me all these horror stories about Bali and the temple parks in Cambodia and stuff like that, Vietnam, and just all the crazy monkey shenanigans that happen. And actually here it doesn't really take place so much. True Bravo is a little bit insulated, and they have tons of natural food to forage from, and they're not over inundated with people. So what ends up happening is they live a very calm and copacetic existence. Okay. Sometimes I will stop drop my voice for a second. Those of you that don't know me, I'm actually mostly deaf. I'm heavily hearing impaired, and I can't hear monkey call until I'm right up on it. But what I can do is I can see the leaves start to fall to the ground. And if that happens a lot in a concentrated area, or I see the top of the trees shaking, it's not windy today. So that's definitely monkeys playing around on top of the trees. And that's what I'm kind of looking for at the moment. I'm going to say hi to everybody. I can't really see my phone too well as I'm walking. The pathway looks like it's flat, but it's actually not. These bricks are in different levels, and it's very easy to trip. And the last thing I want to do is hurt myself out here today. If I were to take us down here, we would go into the actual mangrove project itself. And this is where they're replanting mangroves to establish and reestablish the mangroves here in Jakarta, which are very important actually to protecting the city. Now, Jakarta is sinking, believe it or not. And there's a lot of articles very recently about how dire that situation is. You got about 30 centimeters of sea level rise in the past few years. That's a lot. And mangroves are a great natural defense to sea level rise. No matter what the reason is for that sea level rise, it's definitely happening. And it's a very smart thing for them to do, to take a proactive stance and try to replenish what used to be the natural buffer to keep sea level rise at bay. Coming up in front of us is the down tree. And I've been doing this so long that I remember when the down tree had just fallen, and they didn't have the side path to go around it. So you actually had to crawl under the down tree to continue down the path. And then about 2 years ago, they built this path, which is kind of nice. It keeps me from getting all dirty and grungy. Okay. Hopefully, I still get good cell service. This is the worst part of the park to be in for cell connection. Definitely trying to find the monkeys. If I see them, you'll know because I will actually just shut up. I will get very quiet very quickly. And I don't see them right now. So some of the other animals you might see that I've seen a lot of this morning are water monitor lizards, which can grow to be about 5 feet long or 6 feet long. I mean, they get absolutely huge. They're not quite as big as crocodile or alligator, but they are very large reptiles, and they're able to swim very well. They look like Godzilla when they swim. They're very handsome lizards, actually. And I've made videos about the water monitor lizards. And then the other thing is you got these amazing herons out here. You got night herons. You've got the white herons, the migratory ones. And it's still kind of morning-ish. And that's when everybody's going to be looking for breakfast. And there are a lot of fish in that water down there. So sometimes people ask me, do you go down to the water? Oh, see, I heard something, but that's not monkey call, that's bird. That I heard. So, yeah, some people ask me if I go down to the water. Yeah, there have been times when I have. I try not to. I don't want to affect the behavior of the animals that I'm observing. I can stand at a distance. I've got optics on my camera that can zoom in real close. I don't have to get close to anything. And what I try to do is just kind of maintain a distance so that I don't affect their behavior. I don't change what direction they travel, whether it's the monkeys or the water monitor lizards, the herons, the squirrels, it doesn't matter. Trying to keep that natural movement and not affect them so much. There are people in the park. There are fishermen that come and fish on the water's edge, and the monkeys will typically leave them alone. They don't come and mess with them too much. They'll walk past them. They're curious, of course. But see, I almost tripped over that. And, and yeah, they know the fishermen are here every day. They actually have a pretty good cognitive understanding that the fishermen are doing something that doesn't involve playing with the monkeys or even paying attention to them. So the monkeys reciprocate that and don't pay attention to the fishermen. They also don't really pay attention to me unless I'm in a situation where they surround me. And that happens. And that is sometimes a greeting. I will get 26 long-tailed macaques in very close proximity to me. If they're really bored and they see me standing there with my camera, next thing I know, I've got a bunch of monkeys around me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for me. Again, there's a boardwalk off in the distance where the mangrove replenishment project takes place. Beyond that, though, I do want to show everybody just how urban this is, because you have the sense that, oh, it's like a jungle or whatever. No. So on one side are the neighborhoods and buildings and businesses, and then on the other side is a highway. And it's such a narrow park. I can walk straight through it in just a couple of seconds here. I'm going to make sure that I don't hit any spider webs. Yeah. And as I come to the boardwalk itself, you can actually see, and probably you can hear, the traffic that's out there. Now, going to the boardwalk is a good thing for me to do as well, because of course the monkeys use the boardwalk for their own transportation. So I like to check and see if they're hanging around in the boardwalk area. And then, yeah, you got the major highway, lots of Jakarta traffic going on down there. And I'm going to go back out to the main path, though, because in the morning, they're kind of like people. They're looking for breakfast. And they're going to start foraging natural food first, because there's no families or groups around to beg for human food, so they're not really interested in that right now. They know I do not carry food, so they never come to me asking for food. And it's so overgrown right now. I mean, it's just crazy. It's like total jungle here. So back on the main path, down here is a little stagnant water, and then there's the actual estuary behind it. This stagnant pool is kind of a favored area for the monkeys to go swimming in. And of course, long-tailed macaques are really adept at swimming. And they're also known as crab-eating macaques because they will hunt crabs underwater, mollusks, other shellfish, and they'll swim a lot and play a lot. So you never know when you'll see them jumping in the water and hanging out. I thought I saw something. This is my semi-quiet voice. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's moving down there. But that's not monkeys. Okay, so we're heading towards the front of the park. We're about halfway through it right now. It is really that small. So this mangrove park is about 1 kilometer long, and it is way less than half a kilometer wide. Small. And it's in the middle of an urban area that encompasses 42 million people. Yesterday, they just broke the news that Jakarta is the biggest city in the world. The United Nations considers Jakarta to be the biggest city in the world, larger than Tokyo. That's by population and density. So it's really, really interesting as I study these primates, these small primates, at how well Troop Bravo specifically has been able to coexist in this urban environment. Okay, now I heard something. Raise your hands if you hear anything. No, I'm kidding. Man. The other part of my being hearing disabled, mostly deaf, is one ear is completely deaf, the other ear only gets about 20% of viable hearing. So what ends up happening is I have no directional hearing. And I don't know when I hear a sound, I don't know if it's from in front of me, behind me, left or right. So I have to kind of spin around and look. And I'm sorry if that becomes like disorienting. Now, the leaves that are falling currently are from a light breeze that's happening. Monkey fall is what it's called when the monkeys make the leaves come down. And you can actually tell that because they come down in groups, because they're very, centrally located to where the monkeys are sitting up in the treetops. And then you'll see these clumps of leaves just kind of come straight down to the forest ground. And it doesn't actually like scatter so much. Huh. I will find them. It's a very small park. What's amazing is, as small as this park is, long-tailed macaques are consummate survivors, and they're very adaptive and they're incredibly smart. And what ends up happening is they've been able to actually stay away from people when they don't want to be seen, and they can go to one area of the park or another and kind of hang out where people can't find them. So you seen monyet monyet? The monyet down there? I'll try down there. Go see. It's always good to ask a little bit if I don't see them, because of course the park workers, the folks that are here all day, obviously they've seen more of the park before I get here, and I know possibly where they are. So this is not abnormal either. And then as I walk past the lake, private, without ever across the ground getting muddy, and it keeps them away from the people. Oh, there's a very large. So in the United States a couple of years ago, they had a big scare about the killer wasp or the Asian wasp or whatever. And here they're just endemic. They're natural. They happen. There's one actually flying around, killer wasp up there. They are absolutely huge, but they're not necessarily aggressive. See, he's pollinating. He's looking for stuff to eat. It is breakfast time for these guys. Okay. The other thing I can show you right now, you got some cool termite mounds. That's kind of like seasonal as well. Not that the termites are seasonal, but the mounds become seasonal because at certain times they need more protection than others, so they build big mounds. And during the wet season, there's actually right here a caterpillar worm on a thread hanging in midair, and they're pretty cool. Yeah, I'm taking my time walking back because it is so easy to walk past them, me, and I don't know. Now, interesting fact about the troop. Is they have a lead. And I it's something I bought here from local artists, and I tend to wear it a lot when I come out and do my observations. Okay, so still looking for monkeys. Not. I may end the live broadcast if I don't see any signs of monkeys, because I'll have to go deep into the mangroves, and for sure I have no cell service over there. But I'm going to come around the fallen tree again and see if I see any monkeys on the path or near the path. And if I do, I'll take us down there and we can see them. And if not, well, it was a swing and a miss. We'll see. Does anybody know facts about monkeys? If you know any good trivia about monkeys, facts that you've learned, I would love to hear it. Leave me a comment. That would be so cool to see what people know about monkeys. There are a lot of people that have never seen them in a while, but have actually seen them in zoos or that sort of thing. And you can still learn a lot about monkeys without coming to somewhere like Indonesia or Africa, other places in the world, South America. But I do recommend it if you travel to see wildlife responsibly. Just kind of watch out for your safety and the safety of the monkeys, and it'll be very enjoyable for you. Okay, I'm not seeing them. I appreciate everybody who joined in today. I will find them, but it's going to take me a while, so I'm going to keep walking around, and I will post later this week videos from this trip so you can see the troop Bravo, see how they're doing. Upcoming are a couple of side projects because I'm tracking a lot of urban wildlife. I've actually got a little bit of a mystery going on near my home. There's a canal that has these massive burrowed holes in the side in the mud, and there's only 3 animals that are likely to have done that, and one of them is a short-clawed otter, the Asian short-clawed otter, and I love otters. So I'm going to start tracking along the canal and see if I can find out what they were and what's going on. Otherwise, there could be catfish, or they could just be rats. Blech. Anyway, thank you all for joining in.